this video, we'll cover math and variables in Python. We can use Python shell as a calculator. Hey guys, today we'll learn how to do arithmetic in Python. Just when you thought you were free from math class, no. Actually, the math we'll cover here is basic addition, subtraction, multiplication and division, and a few other operators. And you already learned a bit about variables in the last video. With this information, you can use Python as a super-powered calculator to do all your calculations that other mere calculators can't handle. So, shall we get started? But first I have to say something. We're talking about arithmetic in this video, and you might find arithmetic boring, or maybe even hard. But remember, with the basic blocks of coding, you can code any program that you want to code. Well, almost anything. You can't change reality or something like that. So let's talk about how Python handles math. On the left, we have the shell. To type in a math problem, all you need to do is type in a number, space, an operator, space, and then another number. The spaces are optional, by the way. If we hit enter, we see that 1 plus 1 equals 3. Wait a minute. That's not supposed to happen. As you can see, 1 plus 1 equals 2, the way it was meant to be. Now, adding and subtracting are quite easy. All I have to do is type an addition sign or a subtraction sign. Oh, and by the way, this keyboard that you see on the screen will be a helpful guide in case you have any trouble finding a specific key. You'll see it whenever we talk about a certain operator. Now, where were we? Yes, multiplication. You might think to use the letter X for multiplication, but that might confuse Python if you decide to make a variable X, or just the letter X in general. Instead, we use the asterisk, like this. If you ever used a raised dot for multiplication, it's kind of like that. Next is division. Now, unless you have a keyboard with a ton of keys, or you have your all codes memorized, you won't be able to type in the division symbol. Now, an alternative to the division symbol was the /, so that is what's used for division. Like this. Note this is not the same as the \. These are two entirely different things. Once you got that down, let's try using some symbols. In the shell, type in 3 times 4 plus 5. And you get 17. You can see that's right. 3 times 4 equals 12 plus 5 is 17. Now, what happens if we flip it around? Let's try 5 plus 3 times 4. Well, this time, 5 plus 3 equals 8, and 8 times 4 equals 32. So if we press enter, we get 17. Why did we get 17? You see, Python has an order or precedence in which it does things. You might remember PEMDAS, or Please Excuse My Dear and Sally, for math. With Python, it's kind of like that, and here's the order. As you can see, multiplication and division are both on the same precedence. What this means is you start going from left to right, and whenever you see multiplication or division, you do it. Note that this means that division can come before multiplication if it comes first from going left to right. Next is addition and subtraction, which comes next after multiplication and division. It's the same way with multiplication and division, where you go left to right, either do addition or subtraction, and subtraction can come before addition. Now, do you have to remember all this stuff about precedence and order? Well, while it is very helpful, you actually don't have to. Whenever you want to make something go first, all you have to do is put parentheses around it. Python will always do the parentheses first, beginning inward and going outward. So, if we type in 5 plus 3 and put parentheses around it, then times 4, we get 32. Now, let's take a look at some other operators Python has. One is 2 asterisks, which is exponents or powers. If you haven't studied exponents, here's an example. Let's say we did 2 asterisks, and then a 4. What this means is we multiply 2 by itself 4 times. So 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. If we do all that, we get 16, like it says in the shell. The exponent operator comes before multiplication and division in precedence. Next is 2 /, which is floor division. When we did division earlier, if we did 3 divided by 2, we would get 1.5. However, sometimes you may not want that decimal. When you do floor division, you get rid of the decimal. Note that simply the decimal drops, and we just get the 1. Finally is the percent sign, which is modulo, or modular division. Don't worry if you don't know this one. When you did division, you might have learned something called the remainder. So 3 divided by 2 would be 1 remainder 1. Now, it turns out, when you use the modulo operator, it returns the remainder, which is 1. Now, if we did 5 divided by 2, it'd be 2 remainder 1. So if we did 5 modulo 2, it would also be 1. There are some really practical uses with this operator, such as figuring out if something is even or odd. If you do modular division by 2 to a number, it will return 0 if it's even, and 1 if it's odd. Both floor division and modular division are on the same precedence as multiplication and division. Now that you've learned these symbols, go ahead and solve any problem you want with Python. Well, not every math problem. You can't cheat on your homework. Okay, we covered math in Python, but what about variables? Well, we covered variables in the last video. However, there's still a bunch of facts you'll need to know about variables, so let's get started. First off, you can't name a variable anything. If you name a variable something that is already something in Python, whether a symbol or a word, Python will get confused. For example, if you said that print was equal to 3, well, you can get print as now a variable. If you try printing something, okay, that's an error on my part. But if we try printing something, Python will give this error and it won't work. So don't name something that's already something in Python. Also, the only symbols you can use are letters, numbers, and the underscore, which is on the same key as the minus sign. Variables can't also begin with a number, and remember, variables are always case sensitive. Now, here's some cool things you can do with variables. Variables can't change. So let's say we set a equal to 3, we can change it to 4, and if we get a, it's now equivalent to 4. Now, let's say we have a variable that is a number. Now, what happens if we want to increase or decrease that number? It turns out we can. To do it with a, for example, we'll type in a equals a plus 1. And if we get a, it's now equal to 5. How it works is that we first took the original value of a, increased it by 1, and then assigned it to the new value of a. Now, if the variable length is long, typing this out can be quite lengthy. So instead, there is a shortcut. Simply type in a plus equals and then 1. And as you can see, the variable a increased again. This does the exact same thing as a equals a plus 1. It turns out you can replace the plus sign with any other operator you choose. And you can change 1 to any other number, including negative ones. So that's all there is to it. So just try a random math problem or something and... Wait a minute. Hey everybody, it's me, and before we finish this video, I do have something I want to say. You see, I love teaching all of you about coding, and I've learned that some of you even watch my videos in school, which is awesome. In fact, my cousin Bella was surprised one day when her teacher showed a video in class, and she recognized that it was one of my videos when she saw my face. My cousins want to give a shout out to their school, which is called Licking Heights. And teachers, if you watch this with your class for school, comment down your school below, and maybe you'll get a shout out next time. And now, back to the outro. Thank you for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe. Watch out for the next video. Be there or be MC squared. See ya.